When I was a young guy and I went to diesel school in the military, I spent most of it probably hungover. I don't drink anymore, but when you're young, you don't always put a lot of effort into learning things in depth when you're being taught them. A lot of young college students, I'm sure, could concur that most of their studies, they were halfway there, halfway present. So I get it. Everything has an age and a time, but I will tell you what happened because I didn't pay attention as a young military guy, young Marine, learning this trade of how to work on Humvees and 5 tons. When I left the military, I had to go work, right? And I had to go prove I knew what I said I was good at. And I had this certificate and I had some years of experience of working on Humvees. And so I thought, well, surely I'm just as qualified as anyone else entering into a position, right? So when I went and got my first job, it was at Goodyear. I was interviewing for a job at Prevost Motorhome, Prevost. They're these $1 million motorhomes. They have sometimes two stories. It's the most amazing coaches you'll ever see. And like I said, everyone who owns them is a millionaire. And I was able to meet a lot of cool people and talk to a lot of wealthy people, and it was a great experience for me. So when I got hired there, there was no entry test. It was, based off my proficiency, or not proficiency, my certificate. So when I went to go and I had to substantiate that I could do what I said I could do, it wasn't a big deal, but there were some times where I was asking people questions and then people would stop and look at me like, how can you not know that? I asked a guy, how does ABS work? In the middle of a parts, and it was like crickets. And so, but he told me, his name was Cliff, and he sat down with me and explained real quick, and it took 2 minutes. And after that, I knew, and I've known since. And I remember that conversation because I was attentively listening, paying attention, trying to gain his information. So the good part of this story is right here. About 3 months into this job, they did a proficiency test, and they tested every single technician on the shop floor. And I didn't have a clue what most of those questions were. They were questions like, can you identify the pins on a relay, 85, 86, 87, 87 alpha, and 30? Do you know where they go and what they do? And many more questions about simple things like resistance and Ohm's law. And what I came to find out really quickly is I didn't know what I thought I knew. And then about a month later, I lost my job. So I really did come to some realization early on in the trades that there's only one way to really get to do this, and that is to buckle down and learn as much as I can. Because the more I understand about theory and how things work, clearly that's going to be something that is an expectation of me. Most jobs used to give you a piece of paper that would enumerate all of the things you needed to be able to do as a certain level of technician and the tools associated with it. And, I was talking to somebody last night giving a little counsel on a shop. And my suggestion, was that if the tool falls over a certain amount of expense, then it shouldn't be on the mechanic to buy it to satisfy the needs of the business. The shop should own that, and they should keep some track of how they keep it. But that should not be put back on the technician to buy a $7,000 scanner to be able to do his job to make you money while he gets a portion of it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on this, man. Have a good day.